Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. I'm doing a video today talking about this ongoing criticism I've seen from a widespread body of individuals levied at cryptocurrency um, under the hashtag HODL to zero. It's something I've seen by major bullion bulls online, and it's just a phrase I'd like to take issue with and discuss today, let's say. So, the argument goes something like this: cryptocurrency is a scam. It's a Ponzi. It's the whole idea and the only opportunity to make, to earn value on the acquisition or purchase of cryptocurrency is dependent upon there being some greater fool that will buy it from you after you no longer want it. And so it's a Ponzi scheme in the sense, from their perspective, that there is no value, no use, no utility, no function outside of selling it, and therefore it is purely speculative. And it's like tulip bulbs, and and as a result, it will go to zero. And if you're holding it, hodling, you will ride all the way down to $0. So, first of all, utility. Cryptocurrency has use. You might disagree with the use case, or you might personally not stand to benefit from that use case, but it has a use case. There's about 2 billion people in the world out of 7 billion that have no banking access whatsoever. None. They can't send money to a neighboring town. They can't exchange value for goods remotely. They have to be in person at a given time when the other person also wants the same thing they need. So there's a coincidence of wants that such people are dependent upon, which is a impediment to their financial growth and freedom. And so for 2 billion people who have no banking, cryptocurrency has a use case and utility that is very important. For another 2 to 3 billion people out of the world, now we're talking for a total of 4 to 5 billion people, there is limited banking access. And so look at the data and statistics around the ability to carry, send, transmit, share, exchange value. It's very clear that anywhere in any world, in any country where you have access to the free money, you're able to move and change and buy and sell things within free markets as you want. You have greater freedom, and there's greater health, and there's longer lives, and it's a positive effect on one's life in every respect. And so not having banking is not having free money, and not having free money is living outside of freedom. And therefore, absolutely, there's a significant use case to cryptocurrency. And now again, you might, living in America or Canada or parts of the world that would be considered rich, you might feel that's unimportant to you. However, it's important to more than half of the world. So that's a very important use case. And then the issue of whether it's overpriced or not is another common criticism. So they say $6,500 for one Bitcoin is ludicrous. It's just zeros and ones. It shouldn't be worth more than it shouldn't be anything. It should go to zero. And again, that idea is in direct opposition to the argument I just laid out for its utility. But even if its value should be less than 6,500, you have to recognize that your argument is based on conjecture, and my argument for its position at 6,500 being accurate is supported by, one, the marketplace that price discovers it at that level, and two, the productive cost of a Bitcoin being that. So to mine a Bitcoin requires electricity, computers, technical expertise, crew, facilities. All of that has a cost, and that cost equals approximately $6,000 US November of 2018. And as a result, you have a productive cost that can justify its market value. And lastly, there's an issue of Metcalfe's law, which if you understand social networks or devices that enable social connectivity, like the telephone or the internet or Facebook or Instagram, these devices or technologies are as valuable as the network of individuals relying upon them. And this assertion or this theory is called Metcalfe's law, and it undergirds a lot of critical understanding of where value comes from for things like Facebook or things like Instagram, and where they don't exactly make something, but they offer a service. So that is a measure of a metric by which value can be assessed, and Bitcoin is absolutely growing in its user base. There are something like 15 million addresses that have separate addresses that have I think it's $100 in them, and so there are a large number of individuals across the globe. 15 million. That's not nothing. Certainly, it's not enormous, and it can be, and it will be bigger. But by every metric, whether it's market discovery or productive cost or Metcalfe's law and the analysis of users as a function of price, you have justification for believing that the value is roughly appropriate. And all that said, this idea of HODL to zero, it's erroneous from everything I've pointed out, but it's on the face erroneous, because the idea that it could go to zero would mean that the individuals involved, who have been involved for 8 or 9 years in many cases since its creation, are somehow going to now walk away from it. It's quite ludicrous, because you're not talking about individuals who buy a stock because they want to make a profit on a company. You're talking about individuals who bought a cryptocurrency or invested their time in mining a cryptocurrency because they believe in the underlying capability of that device. And so they aren't speculators, they're long-term investors. And as long as there's a network of individuals that fall under that category, it could never go to zero, because those individuals are going to buy the dip, as it were. So you've heard it said by lots of different people, if it goes that low, I'll buy it, meaning I'll buy all of it, meaning that the coin can't die because there's always an audience. Now, is the audience going to shrink? I don't think so, but you could make an argument about that. But that is a separate conversation, because it's different. There's two different arguments. One, it's the audience is going to shrink and the value is going to shrink. That's plausible, but I would reject it. And second, the audience is going to go to zero, and therefore the coin is going to zero. That's not plausible, and therefore this idea of HODL to zero is not a plausible argument. What do you guys think? That's why I'm confident about the future of cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin. What do you guys think about Bitcoin? Do you buy it? Would you buy it? What levels would you buy? Do you believe in this idea of it going to zero? And if so, why? Leave a comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Find me on Steemit at infidel1258. Thanks, guys. Bye.